Welcome back, folks, to World of Warships Legends. I'm Soopa-Dave, and today we're going to be doing our build and play guide on the ship and commander of Vuk. Now, I'm pretty sure I don't know how to pronounce any of this stuff. That's okay. I'll do my best. Also, I'm not feeling the best, so bear with me today on this. You're going to see some pretty dumb gameplay in today's match, but it's a good one to showcase the ship. So, that being said, we're going to start with the commander, who is Dragon Hakalugi. I'm just gonna call Mr. Bojangles, okay? Uh, we're using a Von Hipper and Haruna. This ship, if you guys don't know, is Brandenburg, but a secondary or a Brandenburg with some small changes. We'll get into that when we get to the ship. So with Mr. Bojangles, we're using Von Hipper, Haruna. His base trait is Ignition Expert, so a little bit boost to your secondaries, fire chance. So really cool there. Uh, he has flammable cannoneer, which is really cool, and he has porcupine. So and also gyrating drill bits. So you can use this commander. He now becomes the best pan European commander in my opinion because he's semi accurate build. He doesn't have marksmanship, but he does have double trouble, and you could do fight fire with fire if you wanted. Uh, This is his unique skill, Double Trouble. While your main guns are aiming, firing, or reloading, uh, your battleship reload time goes down 12%. Pretty handy. It's a pretty good commander. The issue is, uh, guys, is on the pan. We'll go over here just so you guys can see too, right? There's not. I mean, you got only a couple ships, if you even have these ones for him, right? We'll be switching this guy over as well. He'll be my new commander for all Pan Europeans, but to be honest, there isn't much of them, right? So, um, pretty handy. Also, legendary traits. He does have running with scissors. Wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but can be very handy. I use fight fire with fire though. For the ship itself, we're going with the secondary battery man 2. Prop and concealment is always in 2 and 3. And for the last one, we're going to take secondary battery mod 3. Um, for our loadouts, right, we have 5 heals. They're okay. They're not nothing crazy, but they're okay. And for our your consumables, you can take a catapult fighter. Would never recommend that. Reason being is you're gonna be close, and that plane's gonna get shot down a lot, probably more often than not. So when you're maybe at range for a minute, the observation seaplane's gonna be better in my opinion. And then also you have 3 enhanced secondary targeting. Uh, so let's take a look at the ship here, guys. Survivability, 59,000 hit points. Also, before I forget, I'm taking this awful camo off. I made a black one for it. She's going to be my lady in black. I don't necessarily care for this camo that's on the ship. So, for our main battery, we do have 12 305. So, 12-inch guns. Yes, they're small caliber, but you have a lot of them. So, it does help. Now, the difference between this and Brandenburg is that you get a little bit more accurate guns here, and also your torpedoes are different. So actually, a slight boost over Brandenburg. I like this ship better than Brandenburg. I already like Brandenburg. Um, the grouping here at 1.99, not bad. The issue is the dispersion isn't really that wonderful. All right, that's the biggest problem with them. These are more accurate than Brandenburgs, but these aren't like sniper guns by any means. But they're okay for secondary ship. I was hoping they would be a little bit more accurate, but this ship is still strong. Your HE damage only 3,600. And then you can pen 76 millimeters because you have quarter pen, obviously, with 27% chance to start fires. Honestly, you could shoot HE if you wanted out of this. The AP 9400. Not the world's best AP. It does have a short fuse AP. Uh, I mean, it's not awful, but it's definitely better than what you get with kind of Brandenburg, I guess, with the accuracy. A little bit. I wouldn't notice a crazy difference. But you do have 12 150s that reach out to 12 kilometers on this build. So you have Brandenburg secondaries. These have the same exact stats. Obviously, they're going to have different commanders. So your stats aren't going to look the same, obviously. But these are Brandenburg secondaries. All right. You have 38 millimeters of pen on your 150s. So these things can do significant amounts of damage. They're pretty solid and accuracy as well. And with the little fire chance boost, not too bad. This will be a ship later on when I'm not sick and dumb. I'm gonna have some really crazy games, and I'm pretty sure because I already do well in Brandenburg. Torpedoes. So instead of Brandenburg's torpedoes, you get the 533s of the Pan Europeans, and they fly at 86 knots. These are extremely handy, especially with Brandenburg's good at firing torpedo angles. They do get knocked out once in a while, but man, do they come in handy. Um, and it's hard for people to see them, even destroyers. AA defense, uh, not terrible for a German battleship, right? A lot of it is at 3 kilometers, but still, you're going to shoot down some planes at least. Maneuverability 31 knots, 820 turning circle, so not bad at the tier, in 15.7 for rudder. Concealment 13.6. This is actually a contender, in my opinion. If you wanted a little bit of boost to the guns, you could in the third slot. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but I could see the argument for chromium plated barrels on this ship. Uh, but I like having the detection to get in a little bit closer, right? Because 13.6 is almost at your set. You know, you're only a kilometer and a half off your secondary range, so you get some people in trouble really quickly having decent detection. You can see I only had 3 matches in it. Um, to be honest, these stats should be even better, but I've been playing like a moron today. Let's be honest. Call it as it, see it. I'm not feeling the best, and I I've made mistakes in the ship, but this is a very strong ship. Uh, you can see 110 average so far. It'll probably stay about the same, and XP will stay the same. But I had games today that could have been much better if I wasn't dumb. Um, Also, potential damage against me at 1.6, so relatively tanky ship. And also the XP at 2100 is pretty good for a secondary ship. You also can see I got a clear sky in it with it, so it does shoot down planes. The AA is actually a little bit better than I thought it was going to be, but it's still not great. Um, for your armor, you have bow and stern of 32, and you have extended belt. What is extended belt? 38, I believe, right? Is it 38? Oh, it's 60. Oh, I thought it was 38. Yeah, you're pretty much golden. I didn't. I guess I forgot that. You're definitely golden in this ship. You got a superstructure, but for the most part, pretty tanky ship. Also, you do have a full turtleback, or a turtle. I call it a half turtleback. As you guys can see, the Citadel is there. You're not going to Citadel this thing too often. Maybe Americans at range. That's really about it. Up close, you're going to be pretty good because you do have the turtleback. As we start the match, it's disclaimer time. This is a beginner's video meant to help people new to the ship or new to the game. This is not meant for professional gamers that know everything there is to know about everything in the universe. There are multiple ways to play and build this ship, and I am a above average player, not the world's best. I make mistakes. You may see one in this match. You didn't come here for pronunciations. I'm as good as anybody at slaughtering beautiful languages all the time. with that out of the way, we're on shards, and I love this middle spawn. Of course, we're spawn middle. We're gonna stay middle. We're gonna push up here. I was asking for help from our destroyer. He's gonna bail off and go to A. Do you think he's gonna be a real high impact in this game? I don't know. You can take your guess on that one. That being said, we're gonna push up into B. And one thing that you have going for you in Brandenburg is if you make people come close to you, it's not generally gonna be good for them. The other thing about spawning here on shards is you get a cross shot against people that aren't expecting it all the time on A. Not only that, but I want to get into this cap and kind of make these guys charge at me. That's what my hope is anyway on the other side. Now we happen to be top tier, but I kind of want to get my hands on the destroyer because the destroyers do the same thing over here. They do one of two things. They either come charging around this corner in front of us, or they go run off and run and hide towards B. Alright. So we're gonna come in. You're gonna see some pretty solid torpedo angles. I could take a shot here, but I don't want to give up who's here. This destroyer could think it's another destroyer. Anything, right? So we want to go ahead. You can see the great firing angles on the Vuk here or Brandenburg. And we're going to go ahead and just hit this island here and be prepared. Because we know we're going to make these guys come to us. Sure enough, Kagero comes rolling around the corner. And we're going to take a shot using a spotter plane. And looky, looky, looky. We hit 7 guns on Kagero. That is huge. With a battleship hit 7 of your main guns. We took a ton of his damage off. We got some secondaries to hit him. We throw some torpedoes out. That guy just pooped himself, and he's got to change his pants. Alright, so he will be back in a minute. However, I do notice that 2 battleships are charging in. They are in a division, and they're in a double Gneisenau division, which 1v1, not normally a problem, but I'm going to be a little bit cautious. They're in a division. If I charge them, there's a lot of torpedo damage potential there, sitting there with, especially with the destroyer. I don't want to be sitting in a dumb position, right? Also, we can back up and get secondaries going. And you guys will kind of get to see the secondaries. I really do like this ship. I think as a whole, this is probably the weakest ship of the 3 new ones. But I actually like it the most. Storm Lantern is absolutely busted. We'll talk about that tomorrow's video, but that ship is absolutely crazy. I can't wait for you guys to see that match. But for right now, we're going to go ahead and try to stop these guys. One thing to note, I hit, with both these battleships here, and I am hitting them, and the cap isn't getting fully reset, means the destroyer's back in the base, right? So, with that said, we're not going to just sit here and eat a bunch of torpedoes like an idiot. We're going to get ourselves turned out, and we're going to drop torpedoes, trying to guess where that destroyer is. They do get the cap, even though I'm trying to hang on to not giving it up. And we're going to start to focus our attention on the Lug Dunham. And guys, there's 3 full health battleships here, and we're going to square up against all of them at the same time. And you guys are going to see, we're going to have a good time with it as Gneisenau crosses over. We're going to drop torpedoes there just in case something's coming there, goes through that gap, or Gneisenau decides to turn in and charge us. And you never know, you might hit the destroyer because we are located, meaning that we are the closest thing to him. So trying to keep an eye out for torpedoes. Also, you're going to see we switch over to HE on this Lug Dunham. We are going to get awful luck. We have 12 guns. Now, we only hit 1 shell there. We start 1 fire. But I'm pretty sure that's the only fire we start with the main guns the rest of the time. And to be fair, I should have used AP. We probably, as you see, has a pretty clean Sabo. We probably would have done more damage with the AP here. Just being that Lungdom's a secondary ship, and we have 12 guns, I just figured the HE would be better for destroying his secondaries and stuff like that. But probably in this scenario, probably would have used AP. You could go either way on this, but we're going to get super unlucky with a fire. This guy probably should have died much earlier because you can see he did damage con, and we're just not going to get a fire the rest of the time with our main guns. But you can see we are losing. We got 2 caps down. We're down 2 caps, and we barely have 1. They have more ships. However, we kind of expected guys that will come out, so we were angling that direction. But right now we're trying to angle to 3 ships. Can be kind of tough, so we're going to continue to kite out here. Here you're going to see I wait to get all my guns on cycle here. Probably should just shot, but let's try to get them all on the same cycle here. And again, that was not our main guns that got the secondary. It was, or the fire, it was the secondaries there. So Kagero gets spotted right after I load AP, of course. Otherwise, that would have been, we could have been in a much better position. Obviously, too, without a destroyer out in front of us, we got to be careful, too. We know where their destroyer is, but we don't have another destroyer over to help, so we're going to do the best we can to try to take shots on it. And we use our spotter plane for that. But all in all, I really do like this ship. I don't think this one's going to get much credit for being good because the other 2 are pretty strong in this update. Also, I make a mistake here. You're going to see I quit turning here for a second, and I tried turning to the left. I don't know what happens, but it just kept turning me to the right. And I take a huge chunk there. That could come back to haunt me, obviously. I'm not literally trying to go broadside to 3 battleships here. But obviously I messed something up while I was sick here. Because didn't mean to go broadside, obviously. But we're going to go ahead and turn back out. And in the meantime, we're going to start shooting Gneisenau because our secondaries are kind of wrecking his teammate. But if you look here, he's got 2/3 of his health, and the other Gneisenau's got almost all his health. And we have, what, 1/3 of our health, maybe a little bit more than 1/4, 1/3 probably. And you're going to see, we're going to drop these torpedoes, and there's nothing he can do about these torpedoes. He's going to try to move, but there is nothing he can do. And that's what these torpedoes are great at, right? Especially when you got fires going, we get an extra flood going. He's going down in a hurry. He's gonna be in the submarine class very soon. Submarine class ship, so. But you see right away, we're starting to rack up some damage. And meanwhile, our team is doing a decent job of getting rid of the other guys. So us taking the focus of these 3 battleships really kind of helped. And you can see we're just angling and trying to dodge and weave while these guys chase us down. But almost thought we were going to die here. But we get lucky. And that being said, don't be scared in this ship, but also don't charge into a bunch of stupid stuff. If we charge into a Lung Dunham, 3 battleships, and a destroyer by ourselves, it's not going to go good. So you got to learn when to back off. That's what we do. What we're doing, we kept them busy. We get our heel off here, as you guys can see. And we're going to stay alive. And just by the sweat of our brow, basically, just barely here, get away is we're going to go ahead and take a shot at Lung Dunham as well to get him gone. And we're going to start to, we only have to basically to worry about now the last Gneisenau, who for some reason hasn't had much accuracy at all. I don't know what he's doing. We're going to go ahead and go dark for a second, and then I realize, oh, this match is completely over. There's no reason to do that at all. And we're going to take a shot back on him. We're just going to try to hit what we can, maximize damage here at the very end, make it look like a good game. But in reality, we kind of changed the game by not dying and giving them 3 battleships something to shoot and distracting the destroyer while our team did stuff, right? That was a 3v, 4v1, and we held our own, or held our ground. We were all able to come away with that. You know, we did most of the damage to the destroyer, and then obviously significant amounts to these battleships. Obviously, here is we're gonna get, I think, a high caliber. Yeah, there we go. Our high caliber on this shot. Again, I probably would use the AP more than I did, looking back. But to be honest, not feeling the greatest. Wasn't thinking the greatest in this match. So we just did what we could, right? Here, I'm gonna be dumb. I actually thought I was angled pretty good, but I'm just gonna go damage hunting at the end, and it cost me being stupid. There's not really a good excuse. I'm just being dumb here, trying to finish him off. I thought with my heel going and I thought I was angled enough. Clearly, I am not, as I go down, and I should have went down there. But we get our high caliber. We clearly help our team win this match, and really put, showcase the ship. The secondaries, the main guns. The main guns are good, but I don't think they're crazy good by any means. But for a secondary ship, they're pretty solid. Just to be honest, it's like just a slightly better Brandenburg. The torps are awesome, by the way. They're a significant upgrade. The gun accuracy definitely helps, but I think the torps are the biggest thing. Top of the leaderboard with with a 2600 base game in a secondary ship. That's solid.